If you were around for June, you know it was quite exciting. I would venture to say that July was completely opposite, but let's talk all about it and reset for August. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we are here to reset for August, so we will be talking about July budget, goals, etc., talking about August goals, etc. And as a reminder, I have already filmed a dedicated August budget with me, which you can check out. And I've already filmed an August plan with me, which you can also check out. Those are dedicated videos and I like to do that. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about July finances. For the month of July, there were a number of financial tasks, to-dos, goals that we had that we actually did accomplish. And let's talk about the ones we did accomplish. We invested 15% of our paychecks, paid our monthly credit card bill, booked a hair appointment for me. I did some random acts of kindness, which is a goal of mine every month. We did pay for counseling. We booked our North Carolina hotel, reserved dog boarding for North Carolina, finalized our cousin's trip plans. I purchased some of the home goods that we were looking to purchase for our house. We still have more to purchase. And then we technically bought our aunt a birthday gift. Her birthday was on the last day of July, and so her gift is actually going to be a party that's in tomorrow, actually, I think. So that is what we would consider to be her birthday gift. There are some things we did not do, such as booking my laser hair appointment, which is not important, scheduling my OBGYN, which is important, but I have time to do that. It's just on my to-do list month after month after month, so I can be reminded that I need to do it within a certain time frame. I did not submit my W-2s because I have not received them from the SSA just yet. We were gonna go on a wedding cruise in October with my friend, but she canceled the wedding cruise. It's okay that we didn't go on the cruise, though we did lose our deposit, or we won't be going on the cruise, though we did lose our deposit. And then I had on here to buy an Apple Watch, which I did not do, as you can see. I still do not have an Apple Watch. That should be apparent because the discoloration is going away, but I don't have an Apple Watch, and I don't know when I'll have one again because it's just not at the top of my to-do list. So those were all of our goals, tasks, and to-dos for our monthly budget. Obviously, we paid all of our bills. We got 4 paychecks in July. I went back to work in July. I got 2 paychecks. I get paid anyway, even if I'm not at work throughout the summer, but I did go back to work in July. I did receive 2 normal paychecks, though I recently got a significant raise, which will be reflected going forward. My husband got 2 paychecks. One of his was less than we expected, but we kind of knew that anyway. So, I mean, we do keep up with how much our checks are, but I mean, it wasn't that much less than what it normally would be, and we were expecting it to be less, a little bit less, though we weren't sure of the exact amount, but that was a thing. But otherwise, he did get 2 paychecks. The other one was normal. He also went back to work in July, so whenever we return to renew our contracts, of course, we do always bump up a wee bit. I bumped up a significant amount due to a salary study that was completed for those who are not on the teacher scale. So I'm expecting in the next couple of weeks, maybe not our next paychecks, though maybe mine, but specifically probably my husband's next paycheck. We are hoping to see some higher paydays, I guess, if you will, paychecks moving into August, at some point in August. For expenses, we had hell expenses. Remember, I was sharing in my August budget with me video, if you watched it, that we are going to have to, I mean, unless money falls from the sky, we are going to have to transfer money from our joint brokerage account, which is fee-free. It's not a big deal, and we have done it before. So we will likely have to do that because that's kind of what that money is for. Well, should we never touch it, the money would be used for retirement, but we do touch it occasionally, every few years. But because of how many expenses we've had in the past couple of months, house expenses in particular, we will be withdrawing some money from there. But otherwise, let's take a look at any abnormal fees or abnormal expenses or just expenses that we had that we might not have been totally prepared for or that kind of impacted our budget. And if you remember, I wasn't expecting us to save any money in July. We are going into August with money in our account, but that's because my husband just got paid. We did have some money in there otherwise. So it's a significant amount of money in our accounts, but that money isn't technically saved because it will go towards our credit card. Okay, so we had a fee for $300. We had to pay for counseling, which isn't something we didn't expect. We knew that. So we did pay for that. I guess I'm just trying to share any expenses that we could have gone without if things were in our favor. Because otherwise, like the food and the groceries and stuff, we can't get out of that. But I would say those are two things that took place that we didn't really have to do, or the other things that I will share are things that we did have to do but maybe weren't prepared for. We also had to pay almost $400 because we had an electricity issue, but that was an air conditioning issue. We also had to pay an electrician $85. So like $500 on unexpected house expenses. I didn't mention this because I forgot, but we had to get a new garage sensor through our security company, and the sensor was free, but we did have to pay $4.99 for shipping. So instead of our security bill being the regular $52.14, it was $57.09 in the month of July. Additionally, our electricity bill was pretty high. It was $323.96, but we do live in Georgia, so what can you do? I paid my Mint Mobile cell phone bill for the next 3 months. That was $130.22. We got our lawn tended to twice for $70. Of course, we went out of town twice. I went once with my cousins, and then we went again as a family type of situation with my husband's family. We had to get new tires, so I took the RAV4 to Discount Tire. And if you don't know this, if you have like a minor issue with your tire, like super minor, let's say it just needs patched up, Discount Tire will do that for free. So we noticed that air was leaking out of one of the tires. It was a relatively slow leak. So I took it in thinking it would be something that could be fixed. I then learned that it was time to get new tires. In fact, not only was that tire damaged, it was actually the only one that was operating not in the red. So basically, if it wasn't damaged, it would have been the only tire that was in good shape, because we always buy 4 new tires at the same time. I don't think I've ever not done that. Or if I did, it was way back in the day maybe. But anyway, I was reminded that the tires were in bad shape. So I just got 4 new tires on the spot, $435.12. I didn't think that was that bad. If you ask me for 4 new tires, I mean, I guess it's like 100 and something per tire. So I guess that's the going rate, but I didn't think it was too bad. So went in thinking I was going to get a free repair and not spend any money, and ended up spending $435. However, that was not a complete shock, because when I went to Toyota last for my regular maintenance, which is what I do, we have Toyota, so that's what we do. Well, we have a Chevy too, but that truck is, not really out in the streets. They told me that the tires were going to be needing to be replaced soon, and they were kind of getting close to the red zone. So I wasn't completely shocked, but I kind of had forgotten that they were getting close to the red zone. But basically, we got new tires on the spot. We paid my husband's Mint Mobile cell phone bill for the next 3 months. That was $130.10. Water was $61.94. We had another fee for $264.23. We took my dog to the doctor to get her started on this allergy meds. We have been struggling with her allergies for a while. When she first got here, when we first rescued her, I feel like the first year or two maybe wasn't bad, but then she started developing like crazy allergies. So I've been driving myself crazy. We have, trying to remedy the situation. I've taken her to the vet multiple times. I've asked about allergy testing, all these different things. Finally, her dog sitter was like, I give my pit lab, because I think she has a pit lab too, because pits have chronic issues with allergies apparently. She said, I give mine Apoquel, so ask your vet about that. So I'm like asking my vet about that, which is wild because I've inquired about allergy medications and remedies for forever. They've prescribed medicated shampoos and stuff that doesn't work. So they were like, yeah, bring her in. We can get her started on Apoquel. And I'm like, why didn't we do this years ago? So her visits are free because we pay a pet plan for her every month. But we did have to pay for the Apoquel. That was $91.10. We went to Kroger one day and bought a lot of food for like a couple weeks. We bought dog food. We bought food for a party that we're hosting for my husband's aunt and mom. And that total was $228.94. And I don't know why, but I don't think I've ever in life spent $230 in one single grocery shop. Mind you, we bought all healthy foods. My husband's on a health kick. And I don't know if we bought any snacks, maybe some chips for the party. But otherwise, just like meat, fruits, like stuff around the perimeter. You know, they say to shop well and to eat well, shop around the perimeter of the grocery store and don't go through the aisles. That's what they say. That basically just leaves meat and dairy and, you know, salads and fruits and vegetables, basically. So that's what we did. That's what we typically always do. We might grab a snack here or there, but it's quite rare. But yeah, I don't think I've ever spent that much in one grocery shop. So we had that. We bought some paint for our house for $22.39. That was to repair the ceiling from when our shower was damaged, which we paid for in June. So we kind of repaired it well enough. It looks pretty good. It's to my liking, and I'm pretty particular. And then I also use it to touch up the paint in other parts of the house. We have plenty left, even though we only bought a quart. So I'll use that for other areas of the house as well. We were using the paint that was left over from when this house was built, but eventually paint does go bad, and so ours did go bad. So now we have to buy paint whenever we're doing our touch-ups, which I do regularly. We bought some posters for my husband's new classroom. He has moved schools. He's at a different level, teaching a different subject. So we had to get some stuff for that. So that was $74.19. He bought a shirt for his new school. That was $20. And then everything else is literally, I contributed to a gift for our book club member. All in all, I contributed, so for her actual gift card, I contributed $17, but I also bought her a card, balloons, a sash, and so that would make up the other like $3 or so that I was supposed to contribute. That is something that took place. And there are a few other expenses on here as well, but they're not really sticking out as expenses that were worth notating, to be honest. No, I think we had a date night at Bonefish for $78.60. That's something that kind of sticks out. But otherwise, if you just scroll, you will just see like groceries. You might see a couple restaurants, or a decent amount of restaurants. It depends on what that would be to you. And just like regular stuff that we needed for the house or for the dog. So July actually wasn't that spendy outside of all of those fees and electricity and car tires and all of that. Otherwise, it would have actually been a great month for spending. And we did limit our spending, and we probably would have saved like over $1,000 had all of those expenses not occurred. So those are our finances for July. Let's now move on to reflecting on the month of July. By the way, for this entire thing, I am always referencing my iPad. And so I have my Notion on here, which is where our budget is. Our goals are there. Lots of just life admin type of information is housed in Notion. And then what's not in Notion is in my digital planner. So I'm looking at my little journaling monthly reflections page for July. Let's talk about some highs first. One high was reading in the pool. I think that was me and my husband. I think we were both reading Oh, we read the same book in July. One of the books that we read was the same book. So that was fun, just reading with my husband in our pool. We also went to counseling. That was a high. We had a really great session. I put spending time with family. I think that was following my Virginia Beach shenanigans. I went there for a cousin's trip. I put road tripping solo. I did road trip by myself to Virginia. I love a road trip down. I truly believe at this very moment, I could go get in my car and drive to California. Not straight, but drive to California and not think anything of it, because I do not mind a road trip. And I really don't mind any solo activity, but also a solo road trip. It was a vibe. I listened to a book all the way up, and then I think I listened to another book all the way down. So it was great. That's how I passed my time. And I stopped at Buc-ee's up and down, because a Buc-ee's brisket sandwich hates to see me coming. When I was in Virginia Beach, some of my cousins were on the beach. Some of us were like on the boardwalk, and we saw this boat ride by, and we saw the name of it and the number, and we were like, oh, that looks fun, let's call. And so we called. It was a speedboat tour. It was like $20, but we got to see dolphins. It was so fun. So that was random, but so fun. I love a water activity. Also put on here as a high, seeing my students again. Many of you know, if you keep up on Instagram, that I lost about 8 students. I think, like, off the top of my head, 1 graduated, 1 dropped out, which I already knew they were thinking of doing because they are older than your average high school senior, yet they have been repeating the same classes for years, and they are pretty far away from having all their credits. So it was giving dropping out. So I was prepared for that. So yes, but you just don't know until they return or don't. And then I think the rest of them relocated out of state or out of the district. But I was able to locate the rest of my students, probably like 20 of them, I would say. I think that's what remains, perhaps. And I was excited to see them again. Also, I put swimming with the kiddos. My husband's cousin invited us to their community pool for like a little party they were having. They were serving food, so you can get free food. You can get like ices or something, and they had slides and of course the pool. And so we went over on a whim, which was great. We didn't have anything to do. I think that was a Friday or Saturday. So we went over that evening and we had a gee golly time. So much so that we're also we were like, invite us to the next one. It's a glow in the dark foam party that's happening at night. So count me in. My husband and I went to one of the Falcons training camps, the Atlanta Falcons. We got free tickets. So that was fun. So we went there. And then our July book club meeting, which we had at a restaurant where we celebrated 1 birthday. We celebrate birthdays and other happenings, but we only like come together to buy a gift for a birthday, but we will celebrate anniversaries, or just like, it's not some big huge thing, but just acknowledging those fun, important happenings in the lives of others. I'm a celebration girl. As you can imagine, I've somehow become the treasurer, and I am the one who's kind of keeping up with when people's birthdays and such are. I'm collecting money, buying the gifts. I love a celebration. I don't care who it is. It could be a random stranger on the street. If they invited me to their birthday or any kind of party or function, I'm going. Those were my highs for July. My lows included the HVAC issues. Oh, I turned down a job in July. Did I tell y'all that? I interviewed for this job. I told y'all I interviewed. The interview was fire. I allegedly was in the top 3, but between me and you, I think I was going to be offered the job just because I just felt like that was what was going to happen. But we stopped the process because of the salary that they were offering. There is a salary scale that's pretty vast, but they were offering a salary that was, I guess you might say, on the lower end of things. And the salary is not bad. If I didn't have the job that I have now, I would have taken the job. The job seemed easy enough, and it paid decent. Like, it actually pays pretty well if you ask me. The issue is I just got a raise that I found out about probably a week before they called me back, like literally after the interview. And the raise is it's almost exact to It's pretty exact, if I remember correctly, what the raise is, like the exact number. It's pretty comparable to that salary. So it's a decent salary as well. However, my job, I work around the clock. Technically, we do year-round school, but our days off are the same days off as other districts who don't do year-round school, but we have multiple breaks. We basically have like 2 weeks off at the end of each 9 weeks and then like 6 weeks off in the summer. So all in all, I work 190 days out of the year. With the other government job, I would have to work like, I think your average government worker, federal job holder works like 262 days out of the year. So that's a huge discrepancy just right there. And then also my job's way closer. That this drive would be double the length of my current commute. The retirement plan was the same, I believe, like the same company. I don't know how it was set up exactly, but that wouldn't have been a huge impact. Anyway, I just ended up staying at my job for other reasons, which I'll tell you about at a later date because I don't like putting too much of my business out there, but for good reason. Let's just put it like that. Okay, next, electric issues in the house. Annoying, also a low. Having to get new tires, a low. Canceled wedding cruise, a low because we lost our deposit. Going back to work, a low. I put our finances are a wreck. They're not a wreck, but they're not, okay, they're kind of a wreck. The cost of groceries. Oh, there was this weird Kroger man walking around with that was strapped to him. He was pushing a cart. He had no groceries or anything in the cart. And he was freaking everybody out. And that was a huge thing. It's much deeper. It was much more traumatic than I'm explaining it. But it was wild. And then also I put losing students, of course. Like some of my students moving away and such is a low for me. Let's talk about my favorites. We watched Mufasa, which we never watched before. So we finally watched it in July. Loved it so bad. If you don't know, Bonefish has $5 margaritas and martinis on Monday. I think I've tried every martini except an espresso martini. I will not. They have a chocolate martini. I'm not. And then they have a dirty martini. I think I will not because those are nasty. I can't. Like I don't mind my drink tasting like alcohol, but I'm not drinking a dirty martini like this. If you drink a dirty martini, I'm scared of you. But if you don't know, it's on Mondays. And the same martinis that are like $15 every other day are $5 on Monday. I also looked and saw my birthday this year, which is a milestone birthday, is on a Monday. So that's where you can find me next month. I had a sugar-free Red Bull in Virginia Beach. Some of my cousins are younger, like in their 20s, like mid-20s or something. And they drink Red Bull. And I will drink an energy drink. You know this. Particularly the Reign brand. I think it's Reign brand. They have like vitamins and stuff in it, so I feel like it's better. I'll occasionally drink one. I love a fun drink, but I've never been a Red Bull person, but the sugar-free watermelon Red Bull was actually pretty good. I put Bonefish Grill. Not only are their Monday deals great, but if you don't know, Bonefish is one of my favorite restaurants. So we did eat there once for like a date, and that was fun. And July, I went to 2 seminars with my husband's aunt, or one she couldn't make, so my husband went at her place. So I had two free meals at Bonefish, and then we went to the Monday thing once for just martinis, and then we went again for martinis and food for like a date night. So I know Bonefish hate to see me coming in July. Natural hair freedom. Just the freedom of having natural hair. I love it. My hair health. I went to the hair salon. I got my hair trimmed. And I actually, like before I got the trim, it wasn't really looking that bad. So I was proud of me not, tearing up my hair over the last several months. Because I'm known to not take great care of my hair. And I also got like some kind of like, not a protein treatment, some kind of like moisturizing treatment done to my hair. So I'm loving taking care of my hair. I got this new cowgirl dress for the cowboy themed birthday weekend trip thing that we went on. And I got the cowgirl dress in particular because it was something that I could also wear out and about. I have been consuming illegal amounts of sweet cherries. I discovered sweet cherries some months ago. I've been buying them and I eat them pretty much every week. Our dog sitter was a favorite because she's just a wealth of information and she keeps our dog, so she's always going to be a favorite. Water activities. Also went on another boat ride in July, and then I swam a couple of times and such. So July was great. Martinis, not just the bonefish martinis, but I had a martini or two at other restaurants. I've just been exploring martinis. Press-on nails, which I'm currently wearing. I think I've had 2 different sets for July. And then someone, it's not a someone, it's the librarian at one of the schools that I go to. The other day, she was like, oh, I didn't even recognize you. I love your new do. And I thought that was funny. This was the do that she was referring to because this is actually the epitome of my hair not done. This is what my hair looks like when it's not done. So I literally just wake up and shake my head a little bit and like fluff it out and I'm on my way. And so I found it funny that she called it a new do because it's my hair not done. And I appreciate her for still enjoying my hair in its natural state because I appreciate my hair in its natural state because I don't like doing my hair. So here we are. I also don't want to go back to a life of using a lot of, like, installing a lot of braids and stuff. I'm trying to just chill out a little bit. I could have braids tomorrow. You know me. Whenever I get fed up with my natural hair, I'm booking an appointment. But for now, throughout the summer when I'm swimming and stuff, it's just a beautiful time to wear my hair out. I literally, and it rains every day in Georgia. It has been since May. So I can just walk about not worrying about my hair reverting, not worrying about gel, you know, running from my head because a lot of styles require a lot of gel and stuff. I don't have to worry about that. And I can just wash my hair, condition it, and then it pretty much looks like this. And then I'm on my way again. I love it. Let's talk about some lessons that I learned in July. One was, I'm studying for my clinical exam, as we all know. And one important lesson that I learned is that an easy way to figure out the right answer is to pretend that you're a supervisor giving advice to a supervisee. And when the lady said that in this this study thing that I'm doing, I was like, oh my God, like, you're so smart. Duh, why didn't I think of that? Another lesson was I can go with the flow because of autonomy. Oh, that's an important lesson. I am a person who you need not worry about. And that might be a little toxic and unhealthy in a trauma response. But I'm just not a person that you, like, literally, if you invite me, perfect example, my friend invited me to do a couple, like, go on like a little, I think we were going to a wine tasting, we were going to a dinner, then we were going to like this little bar type of thing. And she was, I would consider her to be like an over planner of sorts. And she was like, well, I'm already going to pick up my cousin and then we can pick up you and just hit the, you know, just, you can ride with us. Cause the 3 places that we were going to were like on the same road, a little distance away, but the first stop was near my house. And so I was like, sure, works for me. Just tell me what time to be outside. Tell me what time you're coming to pick me up and I'll be ready. That's it. That's all. And so she was like, okay, you know, basically she was kind of concerned about how I would get back. It was kind of like well, how are you going to get back type of thing. And I was like, my first line of defense is to call my husband. He'll come pick me up, which is what happened. I can Uber home. I can call a friend, a family member. I'm like, girl, you're picking me up. I appreciate it. You do not need to worry about how I'm getting home. I promise you, you don't need to worry. I am a person, I just go with the flow because I have a solution to every problem. I'm always like 3 steps ahead regarding my own safety and such. Like it doesn't matter. You can pick me up now and drop me off. I keep bringing up California because it's far away. In California, if somebody says, hey, I'm going to California on a road trip, but I'm going by myself. I volunteered to say, oh, I'll ride with you. And they say, oh, well, I'm not coming back. I'll say, okay, that's fine. Don't worry about how I'm getting back. I'm going to get train, plane, you name it, Uber, my husband, flight. You don't have to worry about me. I'm going to get home safely. I'm just a person who, you just need to tell me where to be, what to bring. If you're having a party or something, just tell me what to bring, what time to be there. Like just the details, the theme or whatever. And that's all you need to worry about. I am going to show up. I'm going to be chilling, enjoying the moment, relax, cool, calm, collected. I'll figure out the details at a later date, or I already have them figured out already. I just go with the flow because I know how to take care of myself. Learned a lot about retirement. I went to 2 retirement seminars for the free meals. I learned how to write a proper IEP. I don't write an IEP, but as part of one of the professional developments, we were mandated to participate in that training session. And so I learned a lot about it. I still probably couldn't write one properly, but I did learn about it and stuff. I put on here no group trips for me. And what I mean is no planning of group trips. If you want me to go somewhere, or if you want to invite me on your trip, I'm all for it. I will go. I will go on any trip that I'm invited to. But the caveat is I'm not going to play any huge role in the planning of the group trip because I don't want to. There's no other reason other than it's not my cup of tea. I put on here that some people's frontal lobes may or may not be developed already, because sometimes I'm shook at the things that come out of some people's mouths, some of the things that they say without thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I say things that I should not, for which I have to be apologetic for. But I just feel like I try to be mindful and have a filter. When I was younger, I feel like I was more blunt and had less of a filter. But I'm grown, like big grown now. So I try to have a filter. This is my mood board for July. What do we have here? I read The X, gave it a 2-star. I love Frida, but that must have been one of her first books. It was not giving. I read Whispers of the Lake by Shanora Williams. That was our July book club. Gave it a 2. I'm in this place where I'm having to compare books technically to some of the best books that I've ever read. And so a lot of books are paling in comparison, but I'm trying to also keep in mind that my rating scale is such that a 4, 5, or 6 is a book that I really enjoyed, while a 3, 2, 1 book those are books that I could have gone my whole life without reading. So keeping that in mind, I do try to rate books accordingly. I read Chaos Theory with my husband. It's a YA book that he was supposed to read. The whole school was supposed to read it last school year, but didn't get around to it. And I loved that book. Like, I kind of remember every detail. That's my puppy girl. That's one of the seminars. That is me. That's the dress I'm talking about. That's us at the cowgirl, what do you call it? Western themed birthday party. One party. There were multiple parties that weekend. And that's my husband's mom, I think, behind him. And those are her 4 sisters. They were all there from different states. One even came from California, actually. One lives in California. So they were all there, and that was fun. So we spent the weekend with them. I read 7 Days in June, or I finished it in July. Where's the rating? Oh, is it 4? Probably 4. 3? Yeah, good enough. Who is that? Those are my cousins in Virginia Beach. That's a watermelon martini that I didn't love, but it was pretty. That is, I think that's Arthur with his fist balled up. Is that Arthur? And my husband and I joke and we send that back and forth to each other. Like if he texts me and he says, oh shoot, I forgot to take out the meat, I'll send him this balled up knuckle sandwich fist thing. So that's what we do. Loved Icebreaker. Yeah, as you can see. I think I listened to that on the way up to Virginia Beach. Loved it. Which, this is one of the books that people say are not, they say it's mid and they didn't really like it. And it's a book that I purposefully wanted to read just because most people say they don't like it, I feel like. And I liked it. That's why you should do whatever you want, I guess. That's me and my little cousin. That's the only selfie that was taken. She took a selfie. We forgot to take selfies, I think. Me, my husband, and his mom. I read The Darkest Prayer by one of my favorite authors and rated it a 4. Icebreaker was a 4 too. Who dat? What is that? Oh, I read The Wedding People and I didn't care for that. And some people love it. I don't know where I went wrong, but I didn't appreciate it as much as I thought. A picture of my puppy girl at boarding. Those were press on nails. That's what I was taking a picture of. That's the July book club. I think everybody but one made it. One of our book club members made it then. That's the Atlanta Falcons training camp. Hashtag Dirty Birds. Hashtag Rise Up. That's a salad we made at home. That was good. And I think that's everything. Yeah, that's pretty much July in a nutshell. I take other pictures, but I just put like, I guess the most meaningful ones on here. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I read 7 books in July. That's a good month for reading. I think 7 Days in June was carried over to July and I finished it maybe like the first day or 2 of July. I mainly read it in June, I feel like maybe, but I could make that up. I know I started it in June, but a good month for reading. Let's talk about my July goals. Okay, so I wanted to take a personal day on around July 10th. I just pick a random day that I think would work, and then I'll come back and update it with the actual day. So apparently July 10th, I took a personal day. That's a day where I do whatever I want and spend time with me. That was the day that I went to Virginia Beach, actually. Just stopping at Buc-ee's, getting me some brisket and whatever else I got. Driving, it was a good trip until I got to Virginia Beach and then it started to rain. But otherwise it was beautiful. Listening to my audiobook. I just normally try to just spend maybe 5-6 hours or so just enjoying my personal day. It doesn't have to be from sunup to sundown. And just the duration of the trip and all of that was what I considered to be like personal time and a personal day. So that's what that's about. I wanted to read 4 books. We already talked about how many I did read, so I achieved that goal. I did not schedule the OBGYN, schedule a laser hair removal appointment, or buy my monthly perfume. So because I did not accomplish more tasks or action steps, then I didn't check it off as accomplished. But if I would have done one more thing, I would have just called it accomplished because that's what I do. For family, we did change our microwave light. We bought a light, changed the light, touched up the paint, bought paint, decluttered upstairs some. We didn't touch up all the paint either. So we did a number of things on our list, which is great because we kind of neglect this list. These are all important things, but they're not life or death. We did invest 15% of our paychecks and I put save whatever. We might have saved a couple dollars, truly. Relationships, I did everything except host family and friends. That's a goal of mine. Actually, my overarching goal for this year is just to host 3 times. Normally we end up hosting every month, just something small even. So I just kind of leave it on here, although it's not a huge goal of ours. So really I could take it off, but I'm gonna mark it as achieved, the relationship section anyway, because we accomplished more than we didn't as it relates to the action steps. I started studying for my career. So my career exam, so that's achieved. Did secure 1 sponsorship, planned my videos monthly. I think I put out 6 instead of 8, so I didn't meet that goal technically. And then I scheduled workout days weekly. I did not lose 4 pounds from the start of July until the end of July. And I do think I did low carb, low calorie, though I didn't really keep up with it, but I think that I did. So I'm gonna mark that as achieved. Let's move on to August. For August, I had myself taking a personal day on August the 20th, particularly because that's an early release day at work. So maybe I'll get to spend some time alone on that day. Otherwise, I can pick a different day, but I normally just try to pick the days around the day I'm gonna be off work for the month. I think August is the only month with no holiday. So I just picked the early release day because that's the only thing we have going on. I want to read 4 books. I am about to start The 4 Winds by Kristen Hanna, I'm pretty sure. I have Kristen Hanna's books live rent-free in my head. I don't care. I don't traditionally gravitate towards historical fiction, so it's hard for me to say that she's one of my favorite authors because she's not writing books that are of my favorite genre, unlike S.A. Cosby, who's my current favorite author. So it's hard for me to say she's one of my favorite authors, but when I think about her books that I've read so far, they're all amazing books and they're all great. It's just not my preferred, I guess it's not my preferred genre. But the writing style is elite. The depth in which she writes is elite. The content, the plot, the characters, they're all amazing. So I'm grappling with, is Kristen Hanna actually one of my favorite authors, or is she just a fire author all around? So I've decided to continue along with her catalog. I'm going to read 2 of the other really popular books by her. The 4 Winds and, I forgot the other one, but I've read The Nightingale and The Women. They're great. What's the other book that's great by her? So I'm gonna report back. Okay, I think I want to read Beach Read because I think that's in my Libby and ready for me to read. One Italian Summer is back here. I got it from my friend. She gave it to me. She got it in a book of the month. And so I kind of want to read it before summer ends. So August or September. So that's on my August TBR. Also, The Friend Zone. Abby Jimenez, love her down. The Wife Upstairs, I think that is that Frida McFadden? I don't even know who One Italian Summer is. I think it's there. I want to say Carly Fortune, but I could be making that up. I probably made that up. Hillbilly Elegy, I think is how you say that word. I have it up here. I've read it before. I love the book, but the audio version is available via Libby, and I kind of want to, instead of reading the physical book again, I kind of want to listen to it and see, like, to be reminded of it. Because I feel like I love the book, like, real bad. But I feel like I need to just do a refresher, and I don't care to read it physically. So I think I'm going to do the audio version. But I've technically already read it and remember it being good. So I might get to it. I might not. Matriarch by Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom. And Round the Way Girl by Taraji P. Henson. I know Taraji's name, don't get me wrong, but for whatever reason I'm drawing a blank on if that's what her actual name is. Like sometimes I just forget famous people's last names. Like it just slips my mind. But I'm pretty sure she's Taraji P. Henson. I love her, but I'm drawing a blank. But I'm pretty sure that's her name. Oh, and for August we don't have a book club book. So there's that. Next up, I want to schedule the OBGYN, potentially schedule a hair removal appointment, grow my nails as I'm trying to do, which is why I'm wearing press-on nails because they're less abrasive than the Gel-X method or acrylics or what have you. And then I want to buy perfume. For family, I want to do a number of things, pretty much the same types of things. I don't need to buy paint, though technically we do actually need to buy whatever paint is outside so we can touch up our outdoor paint. So I'll leave that on there, but it's not super important, but it is something that we want to eventually do. So I'll leave it on here. I do want to continue touching up the paint because of which, and then I think I want to get my car detailed. I got a detail some years ago and I kind of think I want to do it again. Invest 15% of our paychecks, save $2,500, all the same relationship things, all the same career thing, same business stuff, same YouTube stuff, same health stuff. And those are my personal goals for August. One thing I want to show you is that I decided to check in with my bingo card. I got a free like bingo card from this company. I forgot the name of the company. She has a digital planning company. I forgot the name of the company, and she didn't put it on this card, but I went through and I marked off what I've accomplished so far. And then I also highlighted what I think I'll accomplish by the end of the year, or what I want to accomplish by the end of the year. And should I do that, I will hit bingo, I think twice. So far, I'm gonna show you two. I've hosted 3 events here at my house. I have maintained and improved my current health as evidenced by all the doctor's appointments I've gone to and checkups that I've gone to is looking way better this year than last year, year before, so on and so forth. Wanted to pay off 1 debt, which I did. Wanted to attend 3 concerts, which I've done. Invest 15% of our paychecks. I selected it because if we don't touch how they're set up, we'll continue to hit that goal for the end of the year. So I'm prematurely selecting it, but we've done it every month thus far. Create a cozy office, which I've done and did back in January, and read 24 books, which I've already done. So the ones that I am going to attempt to also accomplish include the ones that I've highlighted here. So these are the ones I've accomplished, and then the ones I put the highlight around the box, those are the ones that I'm looking to accomplish, such as decluttering everything, attending an MLB game, because I was looking at this and I was like, I'm going to just go get tickets to see the Atlanta Braves so I can meet this so I can do it. And so I just went and bought tickets. They were free because I used credit card points. But yeah, I'll be going to an MLB game. Maintain my current relationships, aka not lose a relationship that I don't want to lose. Of course, hit 90K on YouTube. I'm almost at 94, I think. So I got like 4 months, August, September, October, November, 5 months to try to hit 95. It seems doable, we'll see. Pass my clinical exam. Drink fancy champagne. It can be Moet. It can be Dom Perignon. I don't care what it is. Celebrate 9 years of marriage. I'm on track to do that so long as we stay married 3 more months. August, September, October. Not even 3 months. August, September, October. 3 more months. No new debt. On track for that. And yeah, so I'll hit bingo. I think I said 2 ways. I can also, these other things, they're very much possible. So I could still maybe fill up this card if I were ambitious. For now, I wanted to just highlight the ones that I wanted to be mindful of. So I'll check on this like each month to see how I'm doing with it. But this is like, if I did all of these things in a year, that would be amazing. Whereas the monthly goals and such, and I do have yearly goals, those are, and some of the yearly goals are on the bingo card, but those are just like things that I'm really working towards. They might not happen in 2025, but I'm working towards them. They're still my life goals. But this is just like, if 2025 looked like this, I was gonna say I would have no complaints. I probably still would, but I would have no major complaints. I would rest easy knowing that that was a good month, or good year rather. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.